So the final thing to do is to stylize this home button. Now, probably the reason why this is styled different is because the design is on the home page. We can assume that if we're on the blog page, that this will be highlighted with the border and the slightly different background color. So what we're looking at here is something that's called a state. It's a certain way that this is being styled based on certain criteria, specifically in this case, what page we're on. Now in SMACSS, the way that we can delineate a state is by adding a class that starts with the word is and then a dash. It's typical to call this state active, and so we'd use a class that's isActive. So back here in our index.html, for our home link here, we're going to add a class, and we'll call it isActive. And now let's create a selector for that in our CSS. So this is in our navigation, and we can use the selector a.isActive. Now chances are, in this navigation, we're not going to have any elements besides a tags, but to me this is still a little bit easier to understand because it's a little bit more explicit. So we'll create our brackets, and let's start by giving it a different background color and a border. Now the border color looks a little bit lighter than the text, so we'll start with medium dark gray. Now because we're creating a border around the entire element, we can use the border shorthand property. In previous videos we used border top and border bottom, and border works the same way. You add the style, the thickness, and the color, and it will apply that style around the entire perimeter. So we'll use the color medium dark gray. We'll make it 1 pixel wide. Again, with border, there's no need to be relative with our sizing, and we'll make it solid. Okay, so now we need a background color for the isActive, and it needs to be a little bit darker than what we have right here, which right now is light gray. So let's set up our property here, background color. And if we jump over to our color palette, we'll see that the next darker color is medium gray. Let's see if that works for us. Let's save this and jump back to the browser. Okay, not bad. Now we need a little padding to the top and bottom of this anchor tag. Let's do a quick measurement here and see what we have. So it looks like it'll probably be around 12 pixels, 13 pixels. So let's add a couple additional properties to this anchor tag here. Padding top. We'll use the px2em, but in order to get this 12 to line up with what we're seeing here, we're going to need to pass it the base font size of this element as well, which is 22. Now we'll come back around and approach this a different way in a moment. Let's save this and refresh the browser.